Hello, Red vs. Blue fans. Welcome back to the Red vs. Blue AFTERBUZZ TV After Show. We are looking at the end of Season 15, Episodes 17 through 21. We'll see you after the opening.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
And that was the dubstep remix of our opening credits.
There's no time for that, Katie. We've got to rock out to the most awesome garage band ever.
That never really got a name. Grateful Red.
Oh.
They never figured it out.
You know what? Probably for the best. I feel like the universe is better off without it.
God bless. Talking with Jen Brown about that was so funny because it's hard to sing off key when you can actually sing.
Yes. And that's the thing is Jen Brown can belt it out.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
she can sing really well.
She can.
This must have been just painful for her.
So it's just like, sing badly. Like, oh, honey. But it's been since like season 10 since we've had a ridiculous character song.
You know what? I remember back when they released the CDs a couple of years ago and everybody got character songs. That was really funny.
We got a few of them. We got Donut the Musical. We got Bow Chicka
blow
Bow Wow.
you away.
And we got Come On Carolina.
Well, no, I feel like everybody got a character song, but those are the most memorable ones.
Texas, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think everyone got. Well, Church did.
I would have to go back and check, but I'm pretty sure everybody got a character song.
Chat, did everyone get a character song, or did only some people? We need to know. By the way, we have a live chat. How are you guys doing?
Hey.
There's almost 20 of you.
We should
That's
introduce
a lot.
ourselves to those fine and lovely
should.
people.
I'm my favorite murder. I'm Karen. This is Georgia.
Other way around.
Other way
I'm
around.
Karen.
is
I'm the
Georgia.
Karen. We just had this discussion, silly Billy.
Welcome back to the AFTERBUZZ TV Red vs. Blue After Show. It's going to be a fun show tonight, you guys.
Indeed.
We are looking at the last 5 episodes of Season 15, so 17 through 21. Quick Save, Desolation, Red vs. Red, Blue vs. Blue, and Epilogues, which I'm very disappointed was not entitled I Against Me, but that's okay. I like a good
It's
pattern.
I against I and me against you.
Wow, I'm really good at life tonight.
Sorry, I wasn't trying to be a corrector. My bad.
If you hadn't, literally the entire comment section would have.
Sorry.
Corrections Corner. Anyway, I have with me Megan Salinas.
Hey guys, you can tweet at me at the Menguin. That's TheMenguin.
And I'm Katie Cullen. You can follow me all over the social medias at Kiaxet. That is Kiaxet. You can follow our third, Mark Donica, on Twitter at Mark B. Donica. He's always got some super fun stuff to say.
He does
And
indeed.
You can also participate in the show. There's a good chunk of you guys in the YouTube live chat. We also have a Twitter hashtag, ABTVRVB. The live chat goes away after the end of the show. The hashtag is forever, or for at least as long as Twitter thinks we're okay.
Not to mention,
So-
you can tweet the entire team at ABTV Rooster Team.
That's true. I keep forgetting that. I keep forgetting we have branding.
We do indeed, and
Speaking of branding,
we have a network announcement before we get started. AfterBuzz TV New Directions. So pardon me, I'm going to take a quick sip here.
Karen's going to give us the news.
As always, we thank you so much for your support, and we actually have some exciting news about AfterBuzz. Whether you're a new listener or a longtime AfterBuzz fan, you know that we're the world's #1 destination for TV coverage. Well, starting next month, we'll be expanding our content beyond just after shows to bring you a whole new slate of content, format, and guests. Our after shows aren't going anywhere. They're simply evolving. Most of the shows you love only air for part of the year, but during the rest of the year, these shows have news constantly breaking that you want to talk about. So as the ESPN of TV talk, we know it's our job to cover it. We'll have in-depth show coverage for comedy, drama, animated, truly anything you can imagine. Nothing is off limits. And given our no limits approach to TV coverage, we realize that sometimes it can be hard to find the shows you love. And we listened. We're restructuring the website, shows, and our platforms to make it easier for you to find what you're looking for. Our YouTube channel will be divided into 9 different sections by genre. That's dramedies, comedies, reality competition, wrestling, sports, animation, sci-fi, fantasy, superheroes, all one, red carpets, and lastly, our own featured original content. There's a lot to be excited about, but it won't all happen overnight. As we develop, we'll be experimenting to cater to your TV desires, which means your participation and feedback will be essential to deliver these custom shows. To keep up to date with everything, be sure to sign up for the monthly newsletter launching in September and check out our AfterBuzz Weekly, our show AfterBuzz Weekly with Megan Stetcher.
So you really did start that off with your best Karen Kilgariff, didn't you?
I did.
It was pretty good. It was pretty good.
I think it was worth it just to see you double over trying not to laugh.
I have no idea how the camera was on that one, so I don't know if anyone got to see that, but
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, we kill each other. Anyway, let's talk about it. Speaking of dead people.
Oh. So,
this is the show where I learned a lesson about wanting things.
Yep.
Yep.
So it, like...
Kudos if you get that reference.
I don't know how many of you guys were with us during our last show where I was here all by my lonesome talking to Joe on the phone, who is a sweetheart. However, it was super hard not to talk about Quick Save in particular because it had just aired. And of course, we were told day it aired by several people on social media, batten down the hatches. Do not stay off of social media until you get to watch this episode.
Yeah, I straight up said, don't see it, don't let anyone spoil it for you, nothing like that. And so, of course, I screen capped the first don't let anyone spoil this tweet and put it on another social network with some of my friends and said, well, this is kind of terrifying. And one of them wrote back, like, lock yourself in a convent to avoid getting spoiled. And I went, oh my God.
Get thee to a nunnery.
Seriously?
Jeez.
How bad is this? So we sat down to watch it and it's like, okay, this isn't that bad. Oh. Yeah, okay.
And there's the, yep, there it is.
This is what I
There
get
it
for
is.
wanting more wash in a season. Like, my notes on the board right now just say wash no. That's it. That's all they say. That's really all you need.
Oh, I mean, it had great moments leading up to the jaw-dropping, shocking ending, which is Wash getting shot in the throat.
You, Locust, and Big Bird over there.
What's up, Big B? Oh, sweet baby angel.
Locust was incredible in these 2 episodes, though.
Yeah,
He was great in 16. 17 and 18, he was fantastic.
It was such a brief appearance that on the one hand, I'm disappointed he wasn't in the series more, or season more. On the other hand, given kind of the direction that we see and just this little quick snapshot of his journey, I'm also kind of glad we didn't get oversaturated with it. Like, it's just this quick little moment, and then he can come back more a little later on. But
I want the next season to be about him. Like,
for sure.
And you would never have caught me saying something like that during the Chorus trilogy. Never.
No,
and
you
now
hated the Mercs.
Oh my God. And well, it was partially the Mercs and partially the fans that insisted that they could do no wrong.
Ah, yeah.
Which is like, oh, that's a problem, you guys. They're committing genocide and you say it's okay.
The fans that insisted that they were redeemable before we had been given any proof that redemption was even a possibility.
The fans that insisted they were redeemable after the planetary genocide drop.
Wow, wow.
Like, guys?
Although, talking about trying to redeem himself, Locust, again, in this episode, is just so interesting. And just that little brief bit we get about him talking about his journey, about how he tracked down the Blues and Reds, was about this town.
A colony of refugees a few months back where the Blues and Reds stole their power generator, and so without clean water and air, they died.
Yeah. Every man, woman, and child. And
Which is, congratulations, a genocide.
Good job, Blues and Reds.
No, not really.
Awful job. I will say though that like that and Carolina asking if he knew them. It's funny because
and just kind of sweeping right on by that, like, I'm not going to answer that question.
It's funny because he kind of doesn't need to, because it speaks volumes about him either way. Whether it was a town he happened to save and then came back to and it was decimated, or if it was just him being moved by, the sight of this awful human destruction while he's on the path for redemption. Either one is more than enough. Yeah, it's more than enough reason for him to get involved at this point in his life.
Oh yeah, he's on his vengeance paladin journey and learning
Wasn't it
things.
Dark Paladin?
Dark Paladin's not a class.
Whatever.
Vengeance Paladins are.
Yeah, you made that up.
No, I did not.
I'm going to go with Dark Paladin.
There's 3 classes
Dark
of Paladin
Paladin.
in 5th edition.
Dark Paladin sounds way cooler.
There's a different name for those. They did that way back in 2nd edition, but I cannot remember what it was. Deep cut D&D talk. Anyway, he's just rock, paper, scissors with Sarge, getting hugged by Caboose. I hate this. I hate this.
Oh, so good. Wonderful
And then
comedic timing.
just Sarge's apology, and I, for one, believed every single word of that and found it quite convincing. Can we go now, please? The tendency of the badasses of this series to tack please on the end of a sentence when they're just done. He does it. Carolina does it.
Mm-hmm. Just the former mercenary, please, I'm begging you idiots, please. I do want to give a quick shout out to anybody who watched our reaction videos, who was kind enough to draw me Locust Wonder Woman fan art. I just want to say thank you.
I think we had 3 or 4 of those.
We did, and they were all wonderful. So thank you guys.
Yeah, so that, good Lord, we're kind of going for more overarching here because this is partially recapping these 5 episodes and partially because it's the finale, a season recap.
Yeah.
And we have these final battles. We have a machine that is half time machine and half planet destroying laser drill and doomsday device.
Yes.
Which I did enjoy we're going to have the interns run some simulations. And then like 10 minutes later, we're all going to die.
We're going to run some tests and figure out the quickest way to get drunk. So we can pass out under our desks before we die.
I also really enjoyed the, oh wow, I just completely lost what I really enjoyed.
Was it Dylan? Dylan, Jax, the Zealots?
Oh, no, I went and looked again. UNSC headquarters is in Wyoming.
Yes.
Why is it in Wyoming? And people are like, well, it could be in Colorado. I had someone point out that it could be in Cheyenne Mountain in Colorado Springs because that's where NORAD's headquartered. And I looked at it again and I'm like, no, because see, here's the state lines and here's this and here's that. It's either in northern Wyoming or southern Montana. But why, though?
Can we talk about the fact that when they did pull up the map, Florida happened to not be on
continuity!
Oh, that was magical. That was just so great.
Yeah. If it's Halo continuity, half of Africa is glassed. If it's red versus blue continuity, we're missing the state of Florida. Hashtag poor Florida.
Down the other leg of the pants of time.
Something like that.
I suppose so. Talking about parallels and stuff like that, we have Michael McSpad in the hashtag going, did anyone else realize that the first line of the season was foreshadowing the problem with Loco's machine? Hashtag RVB. ABTV.
I think the first line of the season was talking about, like, Newton's.
Yeah.
If it wasn't the first line, it was the first scene. I don't remember what the very first line of this season was. That was a long time
If somebody wants to put that in the chat, that would be super.
Yeah. And Malachroma in chat pointing out it was in Wyoming because of time travel, yay.
Again, the only character that had sort of time distortion capabilities was Wyoming, a.k.a. Reggie.
Also the meta. Kind of.
For a brief minute.
When the series gets serious, you kind of sit there and go, I have something that can time travel. How do I not make this completely game-breaking?
I mean, and not to... I mean, not to nitpick or anything like that, but the time manipulation capabilities of Gamma were limited. I mean, yeah, it could go back for a little bit, but it wasn't like straight up open a door to the past so you can grab your buddy sort of deal.
Which we got a goodbye for church, and this was beautiful and heartbreaking, and just that we're gonna be okay, like, okay. But I think this also kind of leads into one of the big issues that I had with this season.
You want to talk about it?
I enjoy. No, I mean, why are we here in this base, in this box canyon? No, we'll get to that scene because that was a thing of wonder and beauty.
Do you want to talk about the scene with Griff and Tucker first while everybody's processing what happened to Wash?
I want to get this point out first.
Okay, go for it.
I feel like we had character balance issues this season.
Feel free to discuss.
And it's always a difficult thing to do. We were talking about this a little bit in Robots in Disguise the other night with when you want to make a point with one character, occasionally it'll come at the expense of another character, and it's very difficult to circumvent that, and you can't always, especially when you have Red versus Blue, where we have two people on this team that are leaps and bounds skill-wise above literally everyone else, and you have to try to find a power balance. And I know we keep comparing to Chorus because that was the last big plot that we had, but Chorus, it was, you have to get your game together, you have to elevate everyone, and the ridiculous dumb luck and narrative causality that works in the Reds and Blues' favor continued to work with them. But even the Chorus trilogy had, well, we're going to stab Carolina in the leg because we need to kind of even the field.
Yeah, we need to nerf her a little bit.
Once again, we had evening the field with, it was a great thrill. It was terrifying. It removed two characters from the season almost entirely. And I know that's also a personal bias issue because we've gone over this. I have a Wash bias like crazy.
Oh, I love Wash and Carolina. Definitely. I love them a lot. Here's the thing is I'm actually okay with it this season. And we've talked about this in the past too. I'm okay with it because they're both at a point in their own journeys too, where being taken unawares is actually kind of understandable given the circumstances. I understand why you're upset. Definitely. Like, who doesn't love a season full of freelancer action sequences that are just over the top and amazing?
Half the people who skip 9 and 10.
Huh.
They exist.
Huh.
Yeah.
Weird. Anywho, but also, like, not to mention that just as characters, they are interesting people.
Oh, yeah.
And again, seeing Carolina's journey and seeing her wrestle with her own issues about competition and feelings of self-worth and, you know, just all this other stuff that she's had to deal with over the course of the years. And Wash, also, who's gone on a huge journey, being damaged and then redeeming himself and then falling from grace again and then redeeming himself again, and then trying to be the leader of the new group. Like, they've both gone on incredible journeys. But like that here, I will make the argument that I'm okay with what happened to them in this season because one, this is just part one of whatever story they're planning on telling.
No, this is self-contained.
It is self-contained, but like we've talked to Joe and he wants to tell more seasons of Red versus Blue, and so I view this as like part one of whatever it is that to come. You can watch it just like a lot of other seasons of Red versus Blue. You can just watch it as its own little self-contained movie. Beginning, middle, end, all that jazz. And I think as beginning, middle, end, it works just fine. But I'm also okay with it because I know we're going to get more Wash and Carolina later on down the road.
This is true.
Yeah. And again, I'm totally okay with it because where they were at this point in their lives, having finally been allowing themselves to take a break, I totally get being taken unawares and getting taken advantage of by people they underestimated.
And I still have issues with that, but
course.
Again, that's me, and I have a different take on things and different investments, and this is why we discuss, because we have different opinions.
Indeed.
We did get some
No, you're
really
wrong,
good...
and I hate you for being wrong.
Our table flip, leave. Yeah.
That's the internet in a nutshell.
On one hand, we got really, really good red team development.
Which is something
on the
that's
other hand,
been sorely
Tucker
needed.
Spent a lot of time carrying the idiot ball, which, given how badly he was taken by Felix and given how much that messed him up and that he would have learned from that, to immediately be taken again is like, we learned this lesson. We just did.
We did. And again, we're going to fall back again on a little bit of our robots in disguise discussion in terms of like, we know that growth and change is hard, and so having to repeat the same lesson a few times is not terrible in a narrative setting, because it as people, it is hard to grow and change. It's when it happens over and over and over again that it becomes tedious from a entertainment standpoint.
Well, and I feel like this was less episode of the week over and over and over again, and more, you fought an entire war, and half of it was after you found out about this betrayal. It's not that you did this over and over again, it's that it was one huge event that sticks with you.
That's true, but I'm also willing to throw it out there again that with the blinders of we can get Church back,
That's also true.
everybody on Blue Team is, of course, going to turn a blind eye to other things that should be very obvious to them, as would otherwise be bringing up red flags.
That's also very true. That is one hell of a carrot.
And that
Big
and,
enough to hide a stick behind.
even when they do open up the door that Loco created and they see Church on the other side of it, Tucker, knowing full well how catastrophic this is the one saying, yeah, pull him through, because even though it's so funny, because even though we know that Tucker as a person will be able to move on and that it's Caboose that needs this closure, like, you still really do feel the emotional impact of Tucker saying, grab him, pull him through, because I mean, Church was Tucker's best friend.
Well, and I know that
whether they
Caboose
want to admit it or not.
Well, I know that Caboose needed the closure, but I'm kind of sad that Tucker didn't get to say anything to him.
Again,
it was Caboose's moment, and there there might have been a way to balance it, but maybe not in the way it was set up. But it's just kind of sad that, like, pull him through, and then you see him talking with Caboose, and then he's gone again forever. Unless you want another cataclysm, but we most likely don't have another Vic in our back pockets.
Again, Tucker didn't need to say goodbye to be able to move on. Tucker is strong enough that he'll be able to persevere or whatever. Caboose, knowing that Church is gone forever, would not have been able to move on without saying goodbye.
That's true.
Caboose was the one that needed this moment. Tucker, again, you know, he was going to be able to pick himself up and carry on no matter what. It's sad that he didn't get to exchange any words, but at the same time,
he'll be okay.
He'll be all right.
I miss Loco, though. I'm gonna miss him.
I'm gonna miss him,
wish
too.
that he had stuck around. I know we can't really get Caboose in stereo. I know that nobody's sanity can handle that. But
Joel is the only one that can do a Caboose-like character for more than one season without going insane. Ace Trainer 44.
That is literally what my notes say. Get him to space hospital. I'm not even kidding.
Ace Trainer 44. Quick, get washed to a space hospital. Oh,
that is.
For anybody who's not watching the Netflix version of Voltron, get on it.
Why aren't you start now?
And also, we have Michael again in the hashtag. Tucker trusting Temple is a day 5 situation. The suspicion is pushed onto someone else, in this case, Dylan.
True.
Yeah. No, I totally get it. Again, especially when you're telling somebody what they want to hear. And of course, Tucker wants to hear that the person who is responsible for him getting served is the bad guy, and that Temple can help reunite him with his best friend.
This is true. I wish we'd had more Dylan towards the end.
Oh my gosh.
Over the climax.
She is awesome.
I feel like once we got our villainous reveal, she kind of stepped aside for a little while.
She was kind of thrown in the brig for a little while.
Like, I wished we, again, this is getting back into character balance. You've got like 30 players on the board at this point. That is rough.
Which is why
it's hard to keep track of 3 people in a scene. Now we have like 30 of them. Forget it.
I'm picturing myself watching season 15 again in one sitting as a movie.
All 3 hours of it?
Yeah, and in my mind, it's not as imbalanced, I think, as you're making it sound.
That might be the case. But I did still, like, once they found the blues and reds, she and Jax had a far more diminished role. Which, I get it, because we found our people and we need to go into this. But on the other hand,
but for somebody who was presented
the season.
Yeah, for somebody who was presented as our protagonist at the very beginning, it was weird to see them sort of pushed aside for a little while. But at the same time, that's what happens when you have the reds and blues. They sort of soak up the spotlight a little bit.
Like, we made these lieutenants. They're here.
I could also just see, like, Temple literally just pushing them to the side so that he could give his terrible villainous monologue.
Absolutely what happened. You know that's what happened.
Step aside. I have words to say.
Although I did love, you stay here. We all know you're not going to do that, right? Duly noted.
How come she gets both meat shields?
Jax has been promoted.
That being said, I love that, again, it didn't get a whole lot of time in development, but I love the foreshadowing with her too, and I love the resolution of her calling her boss and saying the story and driving him crazy, even though he's on horse tranquilizers. And then
her husband calling her,
picking up in the middle of a work call, which is uncharacteristic of. And again, we don't really get any of the questions answered in terms of what was so intriguing about her at the very beginning of the series. I'm sitting here going, why is she diving into her work? Like, is that just who she is, or is she running from something? And we don't really get any of those answers, but we can definitely tell that there's a positive resolution there when she takes her husband's call in the middle of a work call.
I feel like we can take a fair few of these questions and put a pin in them for the next anthology season.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there'll be another one at some point. There were too many stories left untold from the previous one, and a lot more that you can go into now that we've widened open this world with Blues and Reds, with the press, with all of this other stuff.
The next anthology season is just all of Jack's failed screenplays.
I would watch an entire episode of that, though I did love the post-credits scene with him pitching the movie and making the joke about, it's a 300-page screenplay. Joe said a few weeks ago that the script for this was about 315 pages, give or take.
Yep.
And so I'm sitting here going, wait a minute. Does that mean that the season that we just watched was Jax's movie?
A lot of people
Is that what happened?
A lot of people are theorizing that that is actually the case.
Well, and it would explain a lot, because he doesn't know a lot of what happened. He just makes things up.
I might have embellished a few things here or there.
Deadite Cam. We'll always go back to Deadite Cam.
Oh, that was the best.
And then people being so surprised that we were fans of Evil Dead.
I don't know why you people are surprised. Have I not made my love of horror movies clear enough? I clearly need to start working on that. You guys know I do the after show for Ash vs. Evil Dead, right? I am the lead host.
We had some people be, oh, you like that horror movie? Yes.
By the way, if you're not already doing so, please follow Silver_Screams on Twitter and Instagram for more horror movie
and
fun.
Silver Screams on YouTube. Yep.
Anyway, neither here nor there.
Shameless plug o'clock.
Neither here nor there. But yeah, all in all, this season. Can we talk about Vic for a minute?
Yeah. Bye, Vic. Like, the last episode of this, you know how the final Lord of the Rings had like 13 endings? Mm-hmm. We had a little bit of that with this, because we had like 3 or 4 epic speeches back to back to back to back. So it was a little bit Lord of the Ringsy, but Vic's speech. And if any one of you backed me up.
I like, a lot of people were pointing out how Vic's goodbye speech very much mirrored Epsilon's goodbye speech.
Oh, yeah.
At the end of season 13, which, again, it was a nice nod and also kind of a fun parody of it as well, because Vic is far happier, I think, to embrace his end than Epsilon. Epsilon was sad to say goodbye, but Vic was just like, woohoo! This is where it's at. I'm so happy.
Well, Vic wanted to die.
Well, and not
pretty much gone rampant.
And not to
rampant as a dumb AI can go.
And not to mention that Epsilon was making a heroic sacrifice, whereas Vic was making a selfish move.
If I tell you I don't know, will you kill me? Vic.
Oh, all right. I'm just very surprised that Dylan was honest with him about, yes, this is number 3.
I'm pretty sure at that point it was like number 15.
Doesn't matter.
Let's be real.
It's like, okay, Vic, you can go now. But it is kind of sad to think, yeah, that is one other member of the original Blood Gulch that is now gone.
But he was happy to go.
Yeah. Again, it was a selfish move, not a selfless one.
And speaking of members of the original Blood Gulch, sister! Sibling hugs! It's been too long.
That was a really sweet reunion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was just like, oh. Shut up and hug me, okay.
The last time Sister was, we got glimpses of her in other seasons, just like really quick snippets.
The last time they were in the same location was season 5.
The last time they were in the same location was before they started doing motion cap, which a moment like this couldn't have happened back then. Like, you could have had, a very touching, dramatic scene via dialogue, but you wouldn't have been able to have just that one brief moment of just hug me. And that's one of the things I really like about the way they've incorporated the motion cap into not just the over-the-top fight scenes, but also just the little character bits.
Honestly,
like
I
rock,
prefer-
paper, scissors, and hugs, and
I
little things
prefer the
like that.
character bits over the over-the-top fight scenes. Like, I don't mind a machinima fight scene because they've been doing them for a decade.
Oh, yeah,
and some
no,
change.
down to a science.
They've gotten very, very good at some terrifying machinima fight scenes, but like season 8, kicking Epsilon into the distance, and then just
That was so
rock,
funny.
paper, scissors, hugs, Temple cowering, please don't kill me. Like, it's the little things.
Yeah,
It really
It
is.
just adds an extra dimension to this show, which is always really nice because again, we started watching the show when movement was very limited.
Started watching this show when season 1 made it to DVD and you could buy it at GameStop
Mm-hmm.
for $30.
Or Hot Topic.
DVDs were expensive back then.
Or Hot
Man
Topic,
alive.
or where else could you? You could basically buy them at I think at one point you could even buy them like at a Walmart. I don't know. It would have
I think that was later on down the line.
it would have had to
but
be
yeah.
a super Walmart, but yeah.
Well, you can buy Ruby at Walmart.
That's always great.
that's
That
the thing.
mainstream, yo.
Yeah, that's when you know you've made it. They're selling at Walmart. Boy, is that a weird bar. Capitalism. Anyway, I think one of the themes that we really need to touch on here, because we had it ever since Locust showed back up and then some, is the idea of redemption and of mercy.
Yeah.
Of being better. Of Carolina said, can we solve this non-violently? For once, can we do this with words instead of with violence? Can we be done with this?
Can somebody
and then,
find
getting thrown
justice?
into a murder fridge, but
Can somebody find justice in the courtroom instead of at the end of someone's knife? I think is how she
Yes.
put it. Which
Yes.
is, yeah, that's very poignant.
and then this conversation with Locust about, really, do you really think you can come back from this? And I'm like, well, considering all the stuff you've done, you should know. I'm like,
Miss,
yeah.
I'ma rip the flagpole right out of poor Biff and say this isn't about you as he dies. Jeez.
We've come a long way.
Yeah.
And I think everyone is very much well aware of that. And so
Yeah.
that bit about, yeah, we're killers, but we're a different sort. We don't kill unless we have to. And right now, we don't have to.
Yeah.
It's like, if you start a fight with me, I will finish it. But did we really have to start this in the first place?
And coming from her, again, it was the most impactful because she was the one that killed, inadvertently, but yeah, killed Temple's friend, putting all of this into motion.
Well, she and Tex together. And
Yeah.
Tex is,
Like I said, inadvertently.
shuffled off this mortal coil, is an XAI.
It's
is
not
swinging-
like
singing
Carolina
with the
took
choirs
Biff's
eternal.
head and like snapped his neck on purpose. It was a thing that happened and she just was very callous about it at the time. And let's be real, if she hadn't been so eager to win, it also probably wouldn't have happened.
Well, multiple people in chat are saying that it was Tex that ripped the flag out.
I could have sworn it was Carolina. I don't know. I would have to rewatch the scene, but I could have sworn
were both
it was.
very involved.
I could have sworn. You know what? It was probably. I think she was going for the flag, and then Tex hit her out of the way and pulled it out. I think
Probably.
that's what happened. But
Probably.
I know for a fact that Carolina said this isn't about you.
Yeah.
And went to take it.
Well, and then the conversation in chat about, man, freelancers had issues. I'm like, yep.
Oh, sweetie.
Yeah,
we talked about that. Yeah.
Thank you, Director Dr. Leonard Church. Now get out. That man.
I'm just going to put the memory of my dead wife in this robot and also put it with an AI that is basically the facet of my personality that is anger. Stick them both in the same robot and then pit them up against my daughter. Let's see how that goes. Because I'm Dad of the Year.
I am a man of science.
Dad of the Year, ladies and gentlemen. Dad of the Year.
What is it with dads and like anime glasses? I
don't-
like if
Gendo
they have anime
Ikari,
glasses,
yeah.
they're a terrible dad.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
That's kind of how this works.
Father of the Year. Gross. So gross.
I'm looking at my board. We've touched on just about everything, but the only item we have on my board that I haven't touched on is doubles fights.
Yeah.
My favorite was absolutely Jean. But I have to say my second favorite was with Bucky. Because
That was
you
great.
didn't need... There was never really anything to Bucky. Let's be real. He might have been Tucker's double.
He was Discount Tucker, yes.
But Tucker's bit was definitely with Temple. Mm-hmm. So Bucky, he was there. He said awful things. He never really
He
got
was there to
screen
make
time.
worse innuendos than Tucker.
He was Tucker back before Junior. He's
Yeah,
Tucker
that's fair.
stuck in like season 1, season
Again, evil Tucker.
Yeah, evil Tucker.
But
and so
but that one-liner though.
we did not need much more than that one-liner. And that's what we got, and it was beautiful. Just
It was.
one single well-executed moment, and it was just great.
Yes, it was. It was fun. Again, talking about just great little subtle character animation moments. Just Tucker walking towards him to get his sword back. Again, it's really good stuff. Trying to get the sword to work. Yeah.
And just the having trouble getting it up. Like, yep, yes.
Thank you.
The best of one-liners.
Good night, everybody.
But the bit with Jean and Simmons.
Can we talk about Sarge though for a quick minute?
Yeah, let's build up to it.
Okay.
No, yeah, let's talk about
okay.
Sarge.
So yeah, Sarge, also very
Surge.
much in need of redemption.
I have to face my demons on my own. His name is 15 syllables long, requires a Mandarin keyboard to type correctly,
And
the
an
fifth letter is an emoji. Like, so you're Polish.
But again, Sarge made talking about characters who make selfish decisions. He made a very selfish decision because he just needed an enemy. Again, being told exactly what he wanted to hear and allowing himself to fall for it. All of our guys, they're idiots, but they all know better. But Temple was able to tell them all exactly what they wanted to hear to get them to do what he wanted them to do.
This is true.
And Sarge was no exception to that. And so, yeah, he had to beg Dylan, please tell everybody it was part of my master plan.
And again, Locus's apology acceptance is just like...
so great. But I love that they straight up say, in the same way that like a fight with Bucky wasn't necessary for Tucker, they straight up say, you don't have to fight this guy. Like, we could just shoot him and walk away. But Sarge is like, nope.
I gotta face my demons. And then just the bit about, without knowing right from wrong, without knowing the right thing to do, we're no longer soldiers, we're just villains. And then I'll give you a chance to redeem yourself.
Oops.
Well,
I love that.
And that was beautiful.
I do love that even though he is giving this speech, and he does to an extent understand right from wrong, and again, he's helping his friends, both red and blue, it still circles back to we won't be able to differentiate between red and blue. At his core, that is still who he is.
Oh, this man.
So yeah, talk about
accidentally dropping him in the lava.
So funny.
And Jean and Simmons just doing
Yes!
shoot him, no, shoot him. How do I tell which is the real one? And going back to ever wonder why we're here. Normally, if a series reuses a joke that often, it starts getting old. But every time it comes back around, it's like, yes! It's at the point, it's gone around and come back around, and now it's a staple.
Yeah.
There are just some things in Red versus Blue that you have to have. This is one of them, and it was incredibly well done.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those things where I'm pretty sure it's not referenced every season.
It's not.
If it was referenced at least once a season, yeah, it would get old.
At that point, it's a drinking game. Here's the obligatory whatever.
Yeah. But because it is so infrequent, if you do turn it into a drinking game, I suppose it's a down your drink sort of deal, because it's like, oh, that only happens once every couple seasons. But yeah, this was a beautiful use of it because, and I feel really stupid because I actually didn't see the initial setup of, which one's the real Simmons when Jean was first introduced. I just thought it was a funny character bit that they were doing.
And the fact that it's Gus doing both voices.
Yeah, I didn't actually see that coming. And so it was one of those things where they did it, I'm like, that's perfect. And I'm kicking myself for not seeing it coming. But yeah, it was perfect execution. Perfect execution.
That was a thing of wonder and beauty.
Not to mention, just Jean hanging off the edge. Whatever, I prefer the prequels. I lied about Star Wars.
Darth Maul this shit and come back in a bad video game. Okay, but if that happens, though.
Darth Maul also came back in Rebels, like, for realsies, though.
And then he left in Rebels, and things that happen. Yeah. Yeah, and Chad wants to talk about Griff and this last bit with Temple.
Yes.
And I think he does have the armor lock set up in certain specific situations because there was a line, join your friends in the circle.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, because I really wanted to know how he made this work. Like, it's a radius. I feel better.
Which,
fine.
Again, I think they set up really well when Locust was rescuing Caroline and Wash, because it was a circular room just to act as kind of like a reminder of like, this is a designated area where this is effective.
It was a circular murder fridge.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
So for one, Griff doing a failed Tarzan.
Yep.
Which was a thing of wonder
I failed
and
Earl
beauty.
Flynn, like I'm going to swing in on a rope. And
Errol Flynn.
Earl Flynn?
E-R-R-O-L. Errol.
Whatever, Robin Hood.
Earl Flynn.
Earl Flynn. He's Earl Flynn. He's a discount Errol Flynn? You all right there? Okay, discount Robin Hood over
as
here.
Earl Flynn.
Discount Robin Hood.
Discount Robin Hood.
Just the failed Robin Hood hero swing.
And just being unable to shoot him, and what's wrong? Afraid of blood.
Ooh.
Like, friend, we all know he can't do it, but
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's just fridges are made out of circles. Oh my God, chat.
No, silly billies, that's time. That is why clocks are
I'm
round.
having a hard enough time keeping straight on the show as it is, and then you guys come up with stuff like that, and I'm just like, oh. Good night, everybody.
That is beautiful. But no, again, and I actually don't think... And somebody also brought this up, that we're actually not sure if Temple shooting Loco was intentional or a misfire, because
I'm pretty sure that was a straight up accident.
Yeah, because he was probably aiming for Caboose and missed, because if we recall...
Or just picked the wrong one.
Yeah. If we recall, Church wasn't exactly the best aim either.
This is true.
And they established early on this season that Temple was the same. Yep.
Well, and we also had, like, one of the few questions, I had a few hanging questions from this season, and one of them is, okay, Donut got struck by lightning, to what point? Like,
yeah.
3 different people pointed out in chat, and then Michael pointed out on Twitter, latex armor.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was just a Donut joke, but no, latex armor.
It actually saved him.
Yeah.
Because I'm sitting here going, oh, I'm sure that'll have significance later on down the road, but no, if he hadn't been wearing
That was the payoff to a joke that I just...
Yeah, if he hadn't been wearing it, he would have been cooked.
Yeah.
Ooh. Good job, Donut. Way to go. Way to dodge death another time. Good job, Donut.
You know, baked donuts, fried donuts.
Oh, yeah, he would have been a fried donut.
Fried donuts.
He would have been a fried donut. Ooh, we
Glazed and
should
fried.
We should go to Voodoo.
We should go to Krispy Kreme. They're open 24 hours.
They are.
Shoot.
There's a drive-through, too.
There is a drive-thru.
Anyway.
This is how you can tell we're losing it, you guys. Yeah. So, if there is anything we missed, can you think of anything? We've got 5 episodes worth of stuff. Can you think of anything that we want to cover?
We covered it for the most part. I mean, we could dig into other little fun in-jokes and...
But we kind of have our happy endings. We have Wash's cogent enough to sing the DuckTales theme, which I feel like most people could sing in their sleep. And I would be very surprised if Shannon McCormick hasn't received at least one request to sing the theme.
Oh, I'm
now.
sure he has.
Like, let's be real.
Like in character as drugged up Wash.
I would be gobsmacked if there has not been a request at some point. So he's alive, and we don't have another meta on our hands because he can talk.
Yes, thank goodness. It's not
about,
like... Yeah.
And I love the question about how did he show up in the hospital, and everyone just kind of... I love the idea of Locust just kind of pulling in the back door, putting him on a gurney, ding dong, ditching the bell,
being
and
invisible.
leaving.
Like, oh yeah, there's no way he stepped foot onto Chorus not invisible.
Oh, absolutely.
Just like, I'm just gonna leave him here and
Sneaking. Sneaky Caboose was I laughed so hard.
Tying people's shoelaces together.
One of my favorite things in this chunk of episodes. Just caboose. I don't know why that was so funny.
The only other thing I want to say is like I said, we could dig into like Griff and Tucker's relationship and how we see a little bit of that development, and even even Griff and Simmons, I think, has gotten quite a bit of development to the point where
Don't mind me, I'm framing up for the kiss.
He straight up said he hated everybody with the exception of Simmons.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so pretty great stuff. But, just that it takes a group of idiots to beat a group of idiots.
It really does.
Best sword fighter in the world doesn't fear the
second best. He fears the idiot because you can't.
Fears the worst.
Yep. Don't know what they're planning. Which is honestly kind of like owning a cat. You kind of think you know what
bring everything back to owning a cat.
Owning a cat is a life experience.
Dear Lord.
You kind of know what they're doing, but occasionally they just run up and down the stairs 5 times, and you're like, what the hell just happened?
I don't see the comparison, but anyway, it's just me.
Anyway, I loved that we had the Zealots. I love that the Zealots were very much as established for, let's have exactly zero sympathy for any of these people.
Yep.
And then wreck them completely.
Yep.
I have never been so happy to see someone use the word cuck and then get shot in the face.
That was pretty great.
Fictionally, guys, please don't do that.
No.
Punch Nazis.
Anyway, I think it's time to wrap up.
It is past time to wrap up. We've been told to wrap up a lot. Anyway, thank you guys so much. Thank you for everyone who went on to iTunes, who rated and subscribed and left all the reviews. We love you all. Thank you for supporting the show. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking with us this season. And Megan, where can the people find you?
You guys can tweet at me at the Menguin. That's TheMenguin. I am also on a bunch of shows here at AfterBuzz, and I write articles for the Movie Chick. That's Chick with 2 Ks. Be sure to check those out. Be sure to check out the latest episode of The Scare Guy on the Popcorn Talk, where I was a guest earlier this week. Lots of fun stuff coming up.
You can follow Mark Donica on the social medias at Mark B. Donica, and I am Katie Cullen. You can follow me all over the social medias and on YouTube and Twitch at Kiaxet. That is Kiaxet. If you want to see our reactions to these episodes, those are all on the YouTube channel. Twitch, I'm currently playing Hustle Cat, which is baby's first romance simulator and an experience, let me tell you. And I am also on Geek and Sundry's Gather Your Party, Friday night, 9:30 p.m., twitch.tv/Geek and Sundry. We do good things. Check it out. It's awesome. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
It's still one of life's great mysteries.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.